Good morning. We go. Ready? Oh, Steven's already here. What is happening, dude?
Yo,
Already running. Let me just make sure these guys have the link in case we got a couple people jumping in. Dun, 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 dun. I got a couple requests over the weekend for some charts. um, Actually, I'm gonna. So I know I got Disney. I'm just gonna type it into the. That was Ken, morning Ken, in here that we're gonna look through. Let's see, and I gotta share screen screen 6. So many screens. All right. Nico's in. Cool. I think Ryan. I don't. Ryan's been traveling. I don't know if he's gonna be here today. Probably not. That's all right. Okay, so weekly plan. I like personally. I like this 8 o'clock. Well, 8 o'clock my time, just because the morning trades for me. If you're gonna trade a Monday, they're mostly over already, or at least well en route. So if you're not taking a break right about this time, you should think about taking a break. So that is that. All right, so let's get to it. Just really quick before we start, I need to point out options are not for everyone, and that you should read characteristics and risks of standardized options before you start trading. You can get a copy of that by calling 1-888-OPTIONS. I am actually just gonna throw this up here. Hopefully nobody starts DMing me. And if you guys don't know, there's a section, this free section for Market Outlook. So we'll do a quick recap. And so every week there is a little recap that I'll throw in. I think not a whole lot. We know housing is housing right now. It's not actually moving the market. Jobless claims continue to drop. Housing sales are still going up somehow. We got some preliminary numbers, and this is right here. So this is PMI numbers, so the manufacturer producer numbers, if that makes sense. Slightly higher, but the market also expected a little higher. So again, didn't really move markets. I threw a little bit of this COTS report in just so we know, hey, look, they're still buying oil, still buying gold. So those we should actually could assume that those will continue to go up. And I think that's more or less it for that I wanted to grab off of this. Everybody, all of our sectors are at all-time highs. Let me just throw this real quick into the calendar. So if you guys don't know how to find this, it's just fxstreet.com, and I'm gonna just do this live so we see it. So we can do a quick previous week look if we wanted to. Yeah, there wasn't anything major. That just the home starts is good to note. This is just in general economic terms. So what's going on? Everybody's healthy. They're still buying, not as much, a little bit less than expected, but nothing crazy. The crude oil's higher. This 20-year bond auction, I think, actually did make a little noise in the market. And this is the TLT. So we should, whenever we get this, just a mental note, we should keep an eye out for that. Whenever jobless claims, home sales, right? And this budget thing. So actually, I don't know if you guys remember, not that long ago, we were actually just talking about the deficit, or not the deficit, the budget. or the government's going to run out of money. They pushed that out a little bit, and it should take us to, I think the last thing I read was December 3rd. So for right now, it's not something that is probably going to move a market, but just something to keep in the back of your head that will be coming back to haunt us probably later next month. Oil rigs actually, wow, I was expecting a bigger jump. So this is the first week that I'm noticing they didn't open. Yeah. I actually have 2 less rigs this week. Interesting. So that's good for oil. Bad for inflation, but that should actually keep us running higher. So I'm just going to move on. So this week. And again, this week, nothing crazy. So nothing tomorrow, nothing today, really. And what do we see? So we have a consumer confidence number that will be coming out. This is definitely, so Tuesday morning, this does move markets just a little bit. So just keep an eye out for that. This is the consumer. So remember last week we had retail sales numbers going higher, right? And it's a little bit of a push pull, right? So there will be focus on, yes, supply chains, et cetera, but the consumer, if the consumer continues to spend, then inflation actually would continue to stay high, which is what looks like is going to happen. So this consumer confidence number, if it'll come out, maybe look a little bearish, but that would more than likely be a buying opportunity. Durable goods number, we have a 1% expectation. This doesn't actually move a whole lot. This is more like washer dryers, like long-term purchases, things like that. And GDP. So one thing that, so we had GDP under 2 points, or if it's at 2.5, that's actually low. So this, personally, I think if you ever hear of like cyclical stocks, things like that, this is not good for those. I wouldn't assume that value type stocks actually hold a lot of, maybe not continue to gain as much ground as they have been. That makes sense. And then the big numbers coming in on Friday. So nothing major for the most part of the week. And then Friday, we do actually get some big numbers. So personal income, this is actually going to be a big deal, especially with earnings coming around. There will be, so personal employment costs kind of tie together. If employee wages are rising, that's higher costs of sales for the company earnings. And if this is going up, we just want to make sure that they're spending, essentially. And that's what the market's going to be looking for. Core CPI, we will get, or core PCE. So this is, again, consumer and consumer sentiment. This one absolutely moves the market if it comes in too low. So nothing crazy. Personal spending numbers, some GDP stuff, consumer sentiment, and consumer confidence. So, light week. Biggest thing we have, I think it was Blue's telling me, we have like 2,500 companies reporting this week. So we are peak earnings season, right on to new highs. So this is the average weeks, right? Wow, is this an average week? Let me see. Seems a little high. Yeah, that is an average week's move. So I'm actually going to look for, first thing I'll do is I'll look for the kind of trend support, right? We don't need these anymore since we've already gone through all of this. I might keep this just as a good outlier. And really, so once we broke through this level last week, that was actually our biggest like green light go, right? Now, if you look at, this is last week's from the 20th, I think 18th was the beginning of last week. So from here, let's see. from here to here, right? That's last week. And you see, okay, where was all the chop coming in? It's very clear right on this level. This is what we're going to want to look at. So right now, I'm just going to throw a line right here. As long as we stay above this line, which is, what is this? 452 and change. Does that line up? Yeah, it does. This is a very, very steep trend. And typically when you see a steep trend line, and this is what I'm talking about here. So if I go from here to here, when you see a steep trend line, it's good to note, but it doesn't, they're not actually that strong. So this is like 45 degrees. If it's 20 degrees or less, horizontal is going to be your strongest support. This would be like dynamic support. So it is something to pay attention to. So as long as we're above this kind of trend line here, actually, for me, and I would just set an alert for yourself. So I'm connecting this 430 low and the low prior week, last week at 451. Actually, I can move this down just a little bit. This is really where they defended. 451. So as long as we're below or above 451, so defending, buying, that's what I mean by defending. I would say we're still in a bullish situation. We got a higher high, we got our higher low. Yeah, and this is our market structure here. So as long as we continue to see higher lows and higher highs, assume this is bullish. So let the chart tell you, don't try and prognosticate. That is SPY. So target on the week, that would put this at 460, just over 460, which would be more all-time highs. So Qs, we actually did finally close over the 50-day for the whole week. I can do the same thing here. I'm going to look at where did the buyers come in, and I'm seeing same kind of situation. Let me make a new line here. Right around here. So again, take a look at last week. Last week was actually a choppy kind of range-bound week, but where did we top out? We topped out right here, which actually does look like kind of important level. So if we get above this 376, like a close above 376, that would be an all clear for all-time highs in the Qs, as the charts are telling me. So we got a higher low locked in. We got yet another higher high for this reversal in trend. This does not look like a reversion right now. It looks like a reversal. So this is good. We could probably put in another little trend line. 1, 2. Yeah. So we got another one. I think this looks good to me. If everything goes well, and we definitely call it 375. If we do get a close above 375, that will likely be a close that pushes us quite a bit higher. But below 373, that was our higher low. If we do break below that, that would be a little trouble. We want to reduce exposure to any of that high-tech NASDAQ stuff. Industrials, on the other hand, surprised me considerably. Probably the best week, and sitting above all-time highs right here. So we might have a little chop zone. This is pretty bullish little pattern. This little rising wedge situation here. Let's grab this again. But same thing across the board. So as long as we stay And again, all-time high is this 356 level. Prior all-time high, sorry. Let me just get right on that. 356.60. We are well above that. Acted as resistance, right? We got a higher low. We got another higher low. We're getting another higher low right now. We got a higher high. If we can break above this and this trend line stays intact, wow, we could be heading somewhere up here this week. I would give it a little bit of a buffer. Seems a bit high. Oh, 360, 360 for target over there. One other one, I think we have these IWM iron condors. So 630 or 230 was our target for the week last week, and we got there. We did open a new iron condor, but we are getting a little break in structure here, and this looks like it could be pretty, it may start to get pretty bullish. So we just want to keep an eye on this. If IWM starts to break out of this major congestion zone, and this is a major, how long is this? This is a almost full year congestion zone. That could actually be a pretty big breakout, probably to somewhere 250 range if it does. So we're not quite there yet. We haven't. So this is our prior high. We're about to hit resistance. For now, this should stay range bound. So I would expect a little resistance up in this area here. And more likely than not, it would actually reject based on this trend here. So maybe some extra call credit spreads around the 235 level is what I was thinking about. Other than that, we want to take a look at this range again. Where were the buyers jumping in just to find our weekly support? And again, you can kind of see right around this level right here. Move this out of the way. To right around 226, maybe call it 225. This actually lines up to a little gapping area there. So yeah, 226, little resistance, little support, little support, little support, bounced up, and now we're running into some prior highs. So expect a little chop here for sure. I'm not worried about any of the iron condors right now. I wanted to run into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, I still have our bands going. This actually looks really good. So we have our real prior high right around 67. That was a major one. So then we actually got a lower high right here, which would be kind of a short scenario. And you want to short until you get a break in structure, which we did. So now we're long, right? So this was the prior lower high, and you can kind of just walk this through. We got a lower low, then we got a higher low, and now we're continuing to get higher highs. So as long as this walks up, we should see, and I'll pull this chart back just a little bit. This orange line, if you look at a daily, see the chart changes everything. If you look at the daily, if we can break this, this is extremely bullish. And we should actually be seeing some pretty good gains in the cryptoverse for us. Very exciting. I don't do this that often, but there is a chart that we use, and it's Ethereum to Bitcoin, just the relationship. When Ethereum actually starts to go higher, that's when this chart, when it grows faster than Bitcoin, that's when this chart actually goes up. And for this one, we're starting to see a little consolidation. And this, to me, having been in the crypto space for a while, This signals the beginning, and I mean like real beginning, of what we call alt season. So if this chart continues to climb, it's good consolidation right now. This is where you don't want to be. This is where Ethereum gains start to outpace Bitcoin gains. So we're about even right now, still kind of consolidating. The second that this guy starts to break out, I would be a seller of my Bitcoin, believe it or not, if you haven't already, and jump into your altcoins, because your like Avalanche, Harmonies, Solana, they're going to have exponential gains from this level on in the cryptoverse. How long does crypto season? Crypto season typically, it's actually pretty short. So there's like the crypto winter, which you know, are these little sections right here. Depends, right? So this would be like a crypto kind of, this is like crypto spring break, right? This is a crypto winter here. But so if you think about it, when we get into the holiday season, and I'd say it could go to like January. As we get into the holiday seasons, and if you were to play the tape back to some of the original breakouts, this here is March to, this is just a month of March, and we really kick off May, June, July. Usually right around, so we're October here. So Christmas, December 9th. Here you go. So what happens? Thanksgiving comes around. As funny as this sounds, this is very, very true. Thanksgiving comes around and all the families get together and they start talking about what's going on in the market. They start talking about all these crazy crypto gains. And they're like, well, I don't know how to buy this. I don't know how to do that. And, the kids start showing the parents and the uncles how to do it. And everybody starts getting involved. And boom, you have this influx of purchases, right? And so that actually holiday season, starting around Thanksgiving, is when it gets typically pretty heavy. And I'd say that actually flip-flops, because they'll come back the following year, and if they didn't make any money, they'd be like, hey, you helped me buy this stuff. How do I sell it? And so we also saw that happen in the past as well. So if we have a really good holiday season, that is typically, and I would, based on the way that we're trending right now, I would expect Thanksgiving, Christmas time to be peak crypto, and then probably a little cool off from there. Yeah. Did you mean TRX? TR. Okay, I'll take a look at TRK. Why? Oh, yeah. Stupid. All right, my bad. Oh, I got it. All right. So cool. Just a couple things. So TLT, we always want to have on our radar. This is going to be what we look at in terms of inflation. So if this goes up, right? This is I said 30-year bond last time. This is a 20-year bond. So this is an inverse relationship to the actual yields. So as long as if this is going down, yields are going up. If yields are going up, what sector does not like that? What sectors do like that? So you just got to think about this. These are kind of market cues, right? So if yields go up, that means the TLT is going to be going down. The market likes financials. So banks, you definitely want to have some of that in your portfolio right now. If you don't, this is very clearly kind of trending down right now. It could break, but right now we are getting lower highs. We just got a higher low, but we're about to hit this dynamic resistance line. So I would expect a little bit of a blip, and we'll see where it goes from there. Well below this blue line, which is our 50-day moving average. And we know that rates are going to be going up. It's just a fact. I think that the market is very much pricing some of that in right now. When we get some of these taper talks to start coming up again, and they'll start talking, well, okay, tapering's one thing, but actually changing rates is a whole nother thing. And Jerome had mentioned that last time. Killing me. So I actually think that the market is going to be very accepting of the tapering discussions and even, some rate hikes because it's more or less expected. And that's what we can see. So I think crude oil, big one here. So crude oil is not included in the kind of inflation numbers, but we know that it is a big deal for inflation. Oh, we're not getting any of these. This is just a very clear, crystal clear uptrend. If you're short oil, kind of feel for you, but then again, we were looking at this $80 a barrel as the area they were defending last week. So very much defended. It might look into these crude oil futures actually have options, so I may start tinkering with those a little bit this week. So moving the tape forward, right? We actually got a little bit higher on our levels. So if 80 was what we were looking at the week prior, and we are setting higher highs, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And remember, this is always what you're looking for. Before you take any trade, look for higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs. You want to know what the broader trend is on a very wide view. And then also you can zoom in to trade with the trend on a shorter time frame if you want to take a trade. So for now, right, we may be, and this is a major defensive area right in here. A little extended. So let's say sellers were here, here, here. We actually could. And with net long positions going bigger, I actually am looking right at this level right here. This is where it exploded higher. Little resistance or support, resistance, 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 resistance. Flip resistance to support right in here. So I think this week, if you wanted to trade crude oil, where does that take us? Over 85, 87. Actually, what was Chris is looking at UNG? That's nat gas. He mentioned some options, and I was just looking at this. This is kind of a big one, and we are above this resistance, which is what we were talking about in chat this morning. This actually looks like it could go significantly higher. Yeah, probably up to, 21. If anybody talks to Chris or Caesar, that would be my range for this week, right to 21. Did we do a Bitcoin range for this week? We should, actually. Well, we are hitting this resistance level. Support. We might get a little chop zone. Little pullback maybe to around 62. But yeah, I'm still 65 for sure this week, no question. I say that, no question. Who knows? All right, on to the indexes. I think we had a really good rally this morning, a really, really strong open on a lot of things. Tesla just blew my mind. I thought we were going to have some more time to make a trade there, but we do not. One thing to look at, where are the strongest sectors? So we're looking at software coming into the picture again, still looking very strong. That's IGV. So software, think CRM, it's a big one in there. I think that this is important because what software does not have to deal with is inflation. So you want to think about the companies that are really helping inflation from a productivity standpoint, or making costs of operating more efficient. So things like that. CRM is actually going to be on the list for some potential earnings run-up trades. Remember, they pre-announced, so we know they're going to have good earnings. I'm still a fan of Google here. Retail, big comeback, and this comes back to the consumer, right? So consumer is strong, actually. So we broke above our 50-day here. This is, think of your Targets, think of your Costco. Big moves recently. I think this sector, yeah, we have a 50-day moving average right around 92 for support. So that's a big break in trend right there. Starting to be, if we get above 97, maybe a little resistance this week, but looking good moving forward. Energy, more all-time highs. Just can't fight this one. Yeah. New all-time highs, probably one of the strongest sectors still. So if you're not in energy, you need to be. I like oil services. So some of these are a little cross both of them. So think like Devon, Pioneer. This is mostly like Halliburton, Schlumberger. Financials, not looking too extended at all. I think just good, healthy. This is essentially a 30-day moving average. But yeah, everybody looks bullish. The most beaten down, biotech, tech in general does not look that strong. I would rather, if you're going to pick tech, this is why I'm putting IGV here. I would pick software tech, not like an Intel type tech or IBM. Very different. XLV is healthcare. I think so. Healthcare started to move a little bit. This is United Health. Companies like that actually had a really good week last week. So healthcare, biotech, probably the most upside in the short term, just from a catch-up trade perspective. Semis, again, finally over their 50-day. These guys might need a little bit of time before they really start rocking. But this is going to be AMD, Intel, Lam Research, things like that. Cool. All right. Into the charts. Here we have, aside from KuCoin, what else would you suggest for crypto? Oh, that's from Jeff. You can do Binance.us, and there's a handful of other ones, but KuCoin and Binance are the two major crypto exchanges. I'm not a Crypto.com guy. I'm not a Coinbase guy, or it depends on your style. If you're investing, you just want to make sure that where you're holding things actually has, what's the word? Actually will pay you to hold it. So if you have staking profits or staking rewards, you just want to make sure that you have some of that. And that's, other than that, it's the trading fees, right? So if you are on Coinbase or Gemini, those are the most reputable exchanges, although you definitely want to be using their both Gemini has something called Active Trader that you want to use, and Coinbase has Coinbase Pro that you want to use for trading. Your fees are like less than half. So let's see. I'm going to take a look at the analyst watch list. Did Steven throw anything up here?
I didn't. I just didn't see anything that I particularly was excited about.
All right. No worries. So I do. So this is Amazon, and last week we were looking at this, and this there's a, where's my red line? Visibility. So last week we were looking at the 50-day, but we actually broke below. So 3,300 even is about where we are. You can take some of this noise off. VPVR. And this 200-day should act as a little bit of support. And I'm looking at this level right here. So 30, just under 3,300. With earnings coming up, I think this week, no? 2,500 companies that we have to go through for earnings season. It's a big one. Amazon earnings, October 28th. Yeah. So a couple days. I would expect this to bounce, and we might have an opportunity to do some short dated, overnight spreads on something like Amazon if we do start to see a little bounce. But remember, we are looking for breaks in trends, right? So right now we have a lower high here, and we're getting lower lows. So what do we want to see? We want to see a higher high and a higher low, both. Who knows if we'll get it quick enough to see a trade, but just to keep an eye out. So if this is our lower high, and this is just how you want to do it, right? So if you have a lower high here, you need a higher high above it, and then you also need a higher low somewhere in here. So we need to see, before you're able to take something like this, and then you can take a quick one. But again, I'm really not. Maybe 3,400 would be the level I'd be, again, targeting on a bounce if we get one. So just a level to keep an eye on. Let me see, right around, actually, what is this? 32.80? Very close. Potential bounce area. If we break below, then it's going down 31.80. So you could take this either way. If it breaks down below, let's say, if you get a little bounce that looks like this, you could short. Or if you get a bounce that looks like, whoosh down, up, then you could short here also. Tesla. Okay, we'll look at you in a sec. MBiz. This guy, huge break, just completely got away from us if you weren't in it. So for now, you're just kind of parabolic, and you absolutely need to keep seeing that market structure if you're in this trade, right? So where's your higher low? Higher low is right here at the open today, 940 something, could be here. So again, don't take new trades unless you're above 975. Call it 1,000 on your upside. Can't believe I'm saying that, but it is what it is, right? Zoom, just want to do a quick check-in. So Zoom, this is our 50-day. I was looking at this. We have earnings coming up later on. Not this week, but November. And right at this 50-day, we did reject once. This goes into that software section. So as long as IGV is, good call. Zillow wasn't on. It goes into that software section. So 50-day here, 290 was target for the week. So many lines. And we are way, way low on this guy. 335. It was like $100 or something like that. $130 this morning. Looking at that 290 call. I think it's up a little bit actually already. Yeah, 190. 190 might be a little expensive. So I would expect some resistance at this 50-day. Maybe a little pullback. But again, if you're in it, what are you looking for? Do we have a break? We do. So right now, I'm okay with it. And we got some nice upgrades. Lower high here. And we are above lower low. So when would we want to exit? So this is our higher high. We would actually want to exit at a, if we don't break this 286 and change on this next push, I would just pause that trade. Maybe wait for another pullback, because that would be a lower high, which we don't want. We would exit on a lower high. Right now we're above this 280 level, so it's okay for a little bit. We check out Roku. Still nothing doing. Yeah, right on this support. Interesting level, but just send an alert. Okay, so Ken was looking at Disney. Why do I have this? This looks like a prior trade that we may have taken. Oh, this was actually one of Ryan's trades. I don't know if you guys remember. He threw out like a random diagonal really quick not that long ago, and it hit very close to max profit not that long ago. So that was a 170, what that was, and that actually looks, Ken was looking at what is the best way to play Disney into earnings. So I'm going to look at both this 50-day, see this little zone, 50-day and 200-day kind of averages here. Also this resistance, I already have a pivot at 175. So maybe a 175 calendar looks decent to me. Let me take a look at the chain. When do they report? Disney reports November. So this is good. So November 19th monthlies. Ooh, they're all the way up to 180s. I don't know that I want that. So Disney reports on November 10th. Sorry if my volume is going in and out. November 10th. Shoot. You might just be able to do a 180 calendar right now. Wow, that's super cheap. Is that right? Not with this week, but next week. Pretty inexpensive. I'm just like the volume is on those 180 strikes. So November 19th, 180 calls, 73,000 open interest, 1,100 volume today, about $180 for November 19th. Yeah, there you go. So, and then maybe selling not this week, but November 5th, 180 is against it. That would give you 180 call calendar, $140. Just move forward. Yeah, you can make about $100 on that, and you have something to roll. The thing with that, right now, it has a positive theta, so you just have to be aware if it goes. Oh wow, there's a lot of positive theta in this. Yeah, I like that 180 calendar. Might seem a little aggressive. What are we at, 160? Before his was the last one, we did 175, and we did 175, 177.50. I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's a little bit more expensive. $250 for that. Well, no upside situation to lose money. That's not bad either. So something like that, just a calendar across the board. November monthlies look good to me. The 180 strike has the most volume, so that's going to be your best to trade around. I wouldn't be messing with this week's options per se, but yeah, anchoring something that will capture an earnings upside but will give you a good protection also. It's got a good trading range, up to 190. Yeah, I like this. 180 puts you right at that 200 day. I like that. Let me throw that into. I know you're gonna ask me for it later. Selling this. Buying that. I'll throw it into day trades for you. Oh, just in case if anyone doesn't know. So it's buying November 19th, 180 call, selling November 5th, 180 call. This is the net position theta. So as long as it's going up, it's got to stay above this level. Oops. It's got to stay above 172. So this is pretty bullish. There's one option. You go to Ken and day trades. At Ken. Option 1. And then option 2 was 175. A little bit more expensive. Nah, I like that one better than the others. Other than that, maybe 175 calendar, but that 180 looks good to me for a very bullish trade, as long as it stays above. It's sitting on resistance here, so or support. If you were to wait for something, here you go. Would wait for a higher high over here. Patience on it, right? Otherwise, you still have a bearish market structure. So, yes, support, but you haven't broken this prior high. So wait for something like this. Push above 172, and then a pullback, retest to make that become a lower low, lower high, higher low, and enter. You want to enter your trades on the higher low. So we're going to look for push, pullback, enter into that. That makes sense? Enter in here. All right. Checking. Someone mentioned it. I was looking at Zillow. So lots of housing data. Zillow was on the analyst watch list not too long ago, actually. Earnings coming up. These guys just changed some of their business models too, so they're no longer doing the buying. They're no longer buying homes. So I don't think the market really cared for that model. So we'll see how that changes this trend here. Right now, don't have what we need to see, right? What we need to see is this market structure. If you don't see this market structure, you're trying to catch like a falling knife, and so be very careful. Hopefully this helps. Doing this for you guys. Cool. So from today, I did put this out there just a second ago. We do have a little breakout, right? In process. I was actually looking at this one, 160. Well, I sent 160, 165 debit spreads into the analyst watch list, and I saw this little bull flag situation happening this morning but it has since broken out of. So right now you're for sure higher high. So this is for sure going higher. If you're not in it right now, there is a trade that I was looking at a little bit more complicated. It's a butterfly variant, but it was a 160, 170, 172.50 butterfly. Let me show you guys what that looks like. I can reset this chart. You can either leg into something like this or put it on all together. It's kind of getting away from us now. But so this, why don't I just pop this out? Detach. There you go. So here's what that butterfly looks like. Really, it's a debit spread, 160, 170 debit spread, plus a 170, 172.50 credit spread. Might even be able to do it. Yeah, $10 wide on the debit spread, $5 wide on the credit spread. Today's the 25th. You won't make a ton if this just goes on a tear. You can look at theta. As long as it's going up, this is going to pay you well to hold overnight. The higher that it goes, you start to trade delta for theta. But this level right here, if you look at this blue number right here, so currently this costs about $330. Your max profit, if it closes the week around 170, would be about $670, give or take. And this is what that would look like as you move forward. This is just the week. But pretty good chart right now. Let's look at Upstart. So again, Affirm, Upstart, all in that IGV calendar or category. Asana, definite one. Upstart, we were looking at 340. So that was Stevens level to break above. To me, and this is, we're starting to look at intraday again. To me, this actually looks like we have another little potential bull flag showing its little head here. I don't know if you guys see it. So as this, wow, this is actually the VP, the volume by price line. It's automatic. So it's actually just drawing it right now at 355. Let's see if that lines up. So we know that 352, what's this little? Ooh, we're just under this. I'd like to see it above this little wick, this little level here. So 357, above 357 would be a break of this little flag, right? Up, enter, right there. And honestly, maybe like a 360, 370 debit spread, something like that for this week, if we can get that push. Otherwise, you gotta waiting here. Asana, all-time highs today, looking good again, maybe slightly extended, but we have something to trade off of. Actually, this one and Netflix kind of look the same. Netflix looked a little extended this morning, but we had this pivot, which we're sitting on right now. Again, intraday, 5-minute chart, guys. Don't take a whole lot of this into context for your, this is just a couple minute trades. You can look at 30. So I saw this little wick up here, And this is, let's see. This is not really the line we want. Yeah, see this is more of your actual dynamic support. We could get a little bounce, but maybe extended. You gotta see a break and a high there. I think that's more or less all I have. Anybody have anything else that we want to take a look at? Cool. I think we are good. Jackman, Harmony 1. Did he just do that? Oh, that's not. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. This is my biggest crypto holding. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as big as it used to be. I don't even know what to say about this one, except it's got the most room to run from a market cap perspective. How do you tell that? Crypto coin market cap. There you go. Right. And this will tell you who your top by market cap are. And so Solana's way up here, number 6, right? Cardano way up there, number 4. Ethereum number 2, obviously. Doge has fallen back quite a bit, and SHIB is goodness. It's very high. Avalanche is high, still has room. Link, but where's one? Right, Harmony 1, VeChain. If you guys remember this one, it's been on a nice run. FTM way up here. So you look at it and you're like, oh, Harmony, 49, right? Not even a billion market cap, 700 million market cap. Is there room here? Yeah, you betcha. Major room. Major room. So there you have it. All right, guys. Hopefully that helps. We'll see you in the Discord. All right. Talk to you later.